Hi there. Welcome back to the Flower of Freedom. We're on chapter 42, Revelations, and all rights to the book and presentation are reserved. Keep in mind that this is getting a little darker now. Aki's wife is missing. She went on a vacation to Argentina, and she didn't return. Chapter 42, Revelations. They intercepted your wife's luggage and conducted an examination of the contents, the police officer told Aki. They found no other fingerprints on the luggage that are not easy to account for: the bellhop, the cabbie, and the porter. They sent the luggage along as you directed. It should arrive tomorrow. They learned that she had not been back to her hotel room for 3 weeks. In that time, they found a woman's body floating in the harbor. It was unidentified, but the clothing appears to be French couture. It matches your wife's general description. When they traced the phone calls from her hotel room, they found that the last day she was there, she placed a call to a man named Hans Schmidt. This is not the first time that he has been associated with women who turned up dead. Marie returned, and she was so preoccupied by finding a useful photo from the right era that she did not notice that Uncle Aki was sitting silently staring ahead at the police officer, and that the police officer was saying nothing. She continued to leaf through the albums to find the photos taken from those years surrounding the war. When she got to one page, she stopped and stared. There on a page of the album was a very young, waif-like Aunt Paulette, standing right next to a man who had his arm around her. He was dressed in an SS uniform. He was the spitting image of Bertie. The next weeks were horrendous. They were days of agony and of uncontrolled wildfires of rumor. The pictures were sent to the police in Buenos Aires. The waiting never seemed to end. When the pictures went so slowly one way, when the police work was so arduous, when the responses were so slow. Work was torturous for Uncle Aki, who seemed to sleepwalk through his life. At school, Marie started hearing horrible rumors. Damien's gang from the school down the street started telling people that Uncle Aki had sent someone to murder Paulette. They knew, they said, that he had his eye on Marie. When the residual friends of Damien's gang made sure that Marie heard the rumors, Marie finally broke down in tears in the corridor of the school hallway. Michaud led Marie into an empty classroom, and he flagged down Philippe and Joseph when they went by in the next few minutes. Together they tried to support her. They tried to think what Bertie would do. Awkwardly, Philippe stepped up and hugged the sobbing girl. Joseph filled her hands with tissues. Michaud looked grim and then thunderous. When Marie got herself together, she went back to her classroom and tried to hide her wounds behind her books and studies. Joseph said to the boys, "They say that you should not get mad, you should get evened." Fewer people called Marie for a while. No one came to the penthouse to visit. Someone had alerted Bertie of what was happening, and he and his parents called Marie. Oscar and Bertie called Aki and told him that all he had to do was say the word, and they would come to France or go to Argentina to act as his proxy. Aki was adamant that they go nowhere near Argentina, and that he would call the second he knew any information at all. 3 days later, Aki spoke with Oscar and told him that it had been confirmed Paulette had been murdered in Buenos Aires. The French police officer came to the penthouse to inform Aki. He offered perfunctory condolences and then reported that the police in Buenos Aires felt confident that Hans Schmidt had murdered her. There was no extradition from Argentina, a thing that Nazis like Hans Schmidt knew very well, and that is why they hid there. He consoled Aki that neither could Hans Schmidt come to France. He was still wanted for war crimes. His specialty in the SS had been torture. But anticipating Aki's next question, the police officer tried to put Aki's mind at ease. He reported that it appeared that Paulette had not suffered at his hands, but rather she had been killed with one smooth, ruthless movement that she probably did not see coming. The gendarme added that Paulette's body had been immediately dumped into the water, but she had not taken one more breath. Then Aki faced the task of bringing home her body for burial. Paulette's body was returned on a commercial flight in a sealed coffin the following week, and her funeral was mostly attended by the curious. Oscar and his wife and Bertie came, of course, and they stayed at the penthouse. Marie and Aki needed their support in the face of such unfounded and malicious rumors. The driver picked the family up at the airport the day of the funeral. Bertie and their mother rushed to hold Marie as soon as the maid admitted them. Marie learned many years later that Michaud's mother had intentionally renewed her acquaintance with the ladies who lunched with Paulette. She did it to uncover the source of the rumors. During those lunches that week, she learned that Damien's father appeared to be spreading the rumors through subtle innuendo injected directly into the ears of the ladies who lunched. None of them particularly loved Paulette, but scandalous gossip was their guilty pleasure in life, and so the lies traveled far and wide. Aki, they said, had never loved Paulette. It was just too convenient that the young girl came to live there, and suddenly Paulette is murdered in a far-off country. And over Christmas! Where had he been over Christmas? No one had seen him. Perhaps he flew there secretly and did it himself, they said with passionate horror. Michaud's mother reported all she heard to his father, Francois. Francois was a true friend of Achille's.